Welcome to the Firebelly Social Show. We're focused on talking to food and beverage brands that are on a mission to make the world better.
Hey, everyone. It's Duncan with another episode of the Firebelly Social Show, where we focus our lens on the founders of mission-driven food and beverage companies. And I'm so excited today. Arnell is in the house. Arnell, what's happening?
What's up, Duncan? And thanks everyone for tuning in to this latest episode of the Firebelly Social Show. We have a great show lined up for you today, talking with Angelo, founder of Su Casa Mezcal. This episode is brought to you today by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-driven food and beverage brands bring people closer through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more community and excitement around your food and beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more.
And we got an in-studio guest today, none other than Reagan Heron, who's one of our close friends at Firebelly. She's in the house, and you may hear her shouting out or laughing in approval. So Joey, if you hear a third voice, it is not a haunted podcast. It's just Reagan.
I love it.
There she goes. So listen, let me give you the scoop on Joey Angelo. This is his third enterprise. And look at him. He's eager. He's pumped up. So the guy's got the fire. And he's a tequila veteran. And he's the founder and then exiter from Margs. Most of you know Margs is a best tasting, ready to drink margarita on the market. And I swear by the mango flavor. So welcome, Joey.
How are you? What's up, everybody? Happy Thanksgiving.
We're so happy to have you, man. We're so happy to have you. Now, listen, let's keep it real here. It's hard enough for some people to have one company. And this is your third company. Tell us the story behind Su Casa Mezcal.
Yeah. So, I've always been in beverage. I've always been specifically in tequila, whether a fan or in my professional career or late nights. But, I've always been driven towards agave and the whole Mexican culture. And, it's almost going on 20 years now. So it's kind of my baby. I worked for all the big boys for many, many years. And about 2017, I left to start my own thing. But Su Casa specifically, here it is. This is the Espadín. We launched on Cinco de Mayo of this year. And that is Reposado. This is coming out in February. But, in terms of like what's out there, like the packaging, this is it's a very soothing package. And I don't know if you could see the dimples all over the bottles. But that was done for two reasons. That's very, it was really kind of pay homage to your favorite water glass at a Mexican restaurant, right? Those ones that you just keep on touching so you get that texture and that feel. But also the trade. Bartenders, mixologists absolutely love it. They love that grip. And that's something like you don't get on most bottles or really any bottles. So it's just that, that extra touch. We wanted to go more, again, more namaste, more yoga versus, tattoos and skeletons and rock and roll. Mezcal is the fastest growing spirit. We all read the thing all the time. And yet there's no name recognition and there's really no brand loyalty. So I spent a good deal of time kind of digging in and just, my own personal take on that is, again, the packaging. I think they all look the same. You go to like a bar or your favorite retail store and you see a sea of the same bottle, stock bottle, kind of like an afterthought. And, I think a lot of them are way too smoky for the average consumer. So ours is more tropical, more agave forward. Smoke is certainly there, but just tuned down a little bit. Also for the trade with mixologists, if it's too smoky, they really can't work with the product. And that's really, the whole game right there. We want them to feel comfortable using the product and getting creative and putting their own take on it. And then lastly, price point. I really want to be sub $40 retail and sub $30 wholesale. Again, as a tool for the trade in the whole mixology segment. That's really been working out super well for us too. But that is, that's like the last 2 years of my life in under 2 minutes.
That's awesome. What's super interesting is you mentioned the design of the bottle and how you wanted it to be more yoga and more calming. What was the inspiration for that? Like, why was it so important for it to have that feeling?
Great question. I mean, it's, I always try to dumb everything down. You know what I mean? Like, life could be pretty crazy. Like, let's like bring it all in and try to make it make sense. That's always kind of been my motto. So, the soothing part, like, listen, drinking's fun. You know what I mean? And like, the skeletons and all that kind of stuff. I get it. There's a time and a place, but I think that was kind of very one note in all we were seeing, and all the stock bottles. So I really wanted to kind of turn things around and really make it that iconic bottle. Like, there's so many people like, oh, that's the one with the blue bottle. It's the one with the blue bottle. Even trademarking the name, it's very inclusive. Mi Casa, Su Casa. A lot of the names you can't really pronounce, and I think that's a big reason why there's not a lot of brand recognition and loyalty. You know what I mean? We're always out and about. We're always hot spots, and so people just say mezcal, but not calling it first. But if that was any other spirit, you ask somebody what their favorite vodka is, and they're gonna rip off 10. You ask them what their mezcal is, you're like, they're not gonna say a word. So. For all those reasons, what was the inspiration behind the package?
I mean, it's super cool. That's such an amazing insight with the difficult to pronounce names. It's like, it's not, it's hard to find a whole lot of mezcals that have one word in their names.
I equate it to, going to a fancy dinner and you're trying to impress somebody and you want to order that white burgundy, that very expensive bottle of wine. Server comes over and you're choking on your words, right? So in that's really, it's a lot easier just to point or just say mezcal. And I truly believe that. I think a lot of these words for the average, mezcal consumer, they're just very elongated Spanish words that are just difficult to pronounce. So the fact that we were able to trademark Su Casa is amazing.
And I mean, I don't think we're dissing anyone when we say it's like, hey, the vintage looking label can sometimes just seem lazy.
A little bit. I mean, it's kind of different strokes for different folks. A little bit. I mean, it's real easy to do that. It's very difficult to do this. It's it's a custom package. It's 100% recycled glass. Even like the cork that we use, it's 100% oak. I mean, they're very expensive. The amount of detail on the packaging, it's kind of easy to dial things in. It's hard to do things right. But to each his own.
I mean, and Arnell and I were talking about how the pricing decisions seem so strategic because you're coming in with a sub $40, $35 retail. I mean, for an ultra luxury mezcal, it's like, and this, I mean, and let me tell you, this ain't no Monte Lobos from everything I can read about it. This is not a beginner mezcal. This you're getting straight into it.
Yeah, it's really soft and it's got tropical notes. And, you mentioned mango before. Actually, there's a lot of mango notes in this. And, if I were to blindfold you guys, like, I think you'd be getting more tequila vibes up front, and then it transitions into the smoke. So I wanted everybody to kind of get familiar with what they're familiar with. Everybody loves tequila, but they're unfamiliar about mezcal, yet they're so close. So, I really wanted the recipe to be very agave forward on the front and mezcal on the back by design. Price point wise, yeah, it's tricky because, mezcal's very expensive. And, I can't pass along my pricing to the consumer just because I have high expectations and standards. So, you're going to have to eat it a little bit until you get the volume up and you could buy more. But as far as like not using any additives and we're working with one certain supplier, who in my opinion is the best in the world, just non-negotiable. We just had to do that no matter what. But yeah, in terms of pricing, our idea was, to give you the quality of a $100 bottle, retail under 40, wholesale under 30. And I think we did that.
Yeah. So what about what's coming up next for your product and product line? You already mentioned it.
Just blood pressure going up. That's it.
This is brought to you by Xarelto.
Yeah, for real. I used to have beautiful long hair, but all of a sudden it just. But yeah, what's next is really we're opening a few more markets. So now we're in New York and New Jersey, Florida, about to launch California, Illinois, Massachusetts, and we're actually the fastest growing mezcal. So excited about that. Yeah, like I said, we're putting up numbers now that I'd forecasted for like May of 24. And all the best places too. And I'll kind of go into the strategy with that. We are 100% focused on the cocktail, and cocktail only, right? So, we're the number one feature at Cal Group. We're the number one cocktail feature at Dante, number one feature at Carbone, the Satai Hotel, Scarpetta, Torrisi, Major Food Group, the New ZZ's Private Club, Ketch Steak. We really, we're the number one selling cocktail, like all those places. And that's really where we focus our time and energy on being that cocktail.
Well, I got one for you, Joey. Now, when I was doing my research, baby, I know that you guys early on with Margs, you were doing all the selling. I think your quote was "these two hands," and you were in. I think like out of the gate, you were in 37 total wines. How's that part of it going for you guys in terms of retail?
Great. So, very, very different brand where that's more of a retail focus for sure. The canned cocktails, I mean, they're very 7-Eleven, they're very Wawa, CVS, and Circle K, and, all those kind of places, but it's going really well. We actually just opened our 10th market, and on the road to about 50,000 cases. So really excited about that.
That's super amazing. What's kind of in the mix for you guys? I think as Arnell was saying, Arnell, what was your question? What's the big next thing?
Yeah, the big next thing, and you mentioned that Valentine's Day launch. So
yeah,
tell us a bit about that.
A coral type bottle. Yeah, so this will be ready for Valentine's Day. That's certainly the next big thing for Su Casa. For Margs, you want to open up a couple more markets and just really double down on all the retail, which is going super well. But yeah, Margs, fully operational. Now we launched Cinco de Mayo again of 21. Now we've got 20 team members and 10 markets. And, it was like just a few days ago, it was just my founding partners and I. But now we got a full team and a great CSO and a great CEO. And we're very well funded, and it's going great. It's going really, really well.
I think I saw a interview or now where I think it was the elevator pitch, and it was crazy because I think they almost were a little bit offended that you were almost to your goal when you were there.
Yeah, with the retail for sure. That was Kim. We actually stay in touch. She's great. But yeah, I got that vibe too. I think we were, it's almost like I think we were doing too well at that time. But that was a really fun experience.
And good experience for sure. What do you think about the mezcal market? How has it evolved in recent years, and where do you think it's going? What predictions do you see coming up?
Great question.
For mezcal, that's a great question. And, I'm just so passionate about it. I'm glad you asked, because it's just the right time. And to be like, full disclosure, I had hoped to get this out about 6-7 months earlier. But again, just, really fine tuning everything and the flavor profile and getting, the packaging perfect and all that. It was a little delayed. And that was definitely bothering me for sure. But in hindsight, now is absolutely the perfect time, because you don't want to be the teacher in this category, right? Like I don't want to have to explain to everybody what it is, although it does involve education and secondary selling. But it's just there that it's curiosity, right? And then in your major markets, New York and Miami and Los Angeles, you're starting to see it on the cocktail list. So that's just going to grow from there. So it's absolutely the best timing. And then especially kind of coming off the heels of just a major tequila movement, which I'm also a huge fan of, it's really great because it has the same application. Like you never want to be over talking or selling, right? So, when people ask, how do I use it? What do I do? It's the same exact application as tequila. Do you want a margarita, spicy margarita, paloma, a shot? Same thing. Just have at it.
Love it.
Yeah.
I think one of the questions I know that has been on our mind is that agave is kind of a time-intensive and labor-intensive crop, right? And it's the mescaleros are maybe in some short supply. I mean, what are your thoughts about your mission? And like my sense is that you're making mezcal more accessible in general, but maybe
correct
beyond that.
Yeah. So, agave, you have to look at it almost as a commodity. It's a stock, and it truly goes like this. So, purchasing at the right time and stuff like that, again, not to pass along extra costs to the customer is super important. More importantly, sustainability and how it's grown and doing things the right way. I won't budge on any of that, non-negotiable. I'll pay through the nose for a premium product if I have to, of course. Additives, no chance. No added sugars, no, none of that. So we're very keen on that. But the process is lengthy. And to be honest, I don't think 8, 12, 20 years ago, people quite knew that boom, that's happening now. And these plants take 7, 8, 9 years to mature. So, really kind of getting ahead of it. It's no different than like single malt scotches. If you notice, they're starting to take the age expression off the 15-year-olds and the 18-year-olds. Why? Because they didn't know 18 years ago that it would be this crazy. They didn't know about the Asian market, how much, single malts they're going to consume. So a lot of these now are just blends, or there may be 18-year-old single malt in there, but with some 12 and some 15. I know Macallan's doing that, and they typically lead the charge on everything. So, but that's a good thing. I mean, it's super duper popular, which is great, but more important than that is doing things the right way. We won't waver.
Yeah, that's so important. So what about you as a founder? You founded 3 brands. You're obviously very busy. You're on all the time. How do you take care of yourself?
Yeah, fitness is everything, because you're right. You are on all the time. During the day, it's meetings, whether it's in person or Zoom or administrative stuff, and just everything under the sun, which we're slowly automating. But that's another story. But then at evening, it's still very much a very personal business, and that's what I love most about it. So there's, I'm usually out to dinner. I'd say 4 or 5 nights a week. So especially like in New York City, the dinner's always 9:30. So getting through that day when you're so tired and then having that dinner hanging over your head, it can. But fitness is the answer. Without a really disciplined fitness regimen, I don't think I'd be able to do it, because you're truly burning it at both ends. So I think something would have to give.
So you work out really hard, and what do you do for fun?
What do I do for fun? I tell you, I absolutely love going to Mexico, checking in on the product. I'm actually going the second week in December. But the whole fitness thing for me actually is pretty fun. I was a seed investor in Rumble Boxing. We have locations everywhere. So, very kind of into that. I was never great at sports growing up. So the whole fitness thing kind of is my sport. So that's my hobby. But I love to travel, and honestly, I love to work. I really do. I just super enjoy what I do. And it's problem solving every day. I mean, no days are easy. I mean, come on, I'd be lying to you.
Yeah.
Most days are not. But I like the problem solving that goes into it. It's kind of like you versus everyone else, right? You got to figure it out. It's got to be right. And, I think that's fun.
Super. But here's one that I'm wondering about. Arnell is a yoga teacher, and she's got a whole community around her with yoga. I'm like you, aspire to be like you. I'm a 6-day guy. And I find that when you go to the gym that often, you got friends at the gym.
Yeah, for sure. Some are I like to call them the nods. I have my nod friends that I just we're nods, and There's some get the bro hug, some get the pound, some get the wave from across the room. But I do have my gym friends, and I like to go. I like to grab my coffee, drive to the gym with my coffee, get the caffeine in. I have a whole process, and get my hour of Joey time in. That's very, very key.
Joey's in the house.
That's right. With the hour.
I mean, but listen, here's the thing. I find that the gym crew is it's like a third place, right? It's like you got whether you work at home or not, it's like your home is your first place, your work, whether it's the same place or not, is your second place. And then a lot of people, like, the coffee shop is the third place. But man, I never would have thought that the gym is a third place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I always did. And it's just, I think to get in the right headspace and we all have so much going on, it's just, I think it just really keeps you grounded. That's a non-negotiable. That really keeps you grounded in business and personal life. And yeah, that's super important. And then even honestly, like, the dinners and entertaining and stuff like that. Like, I mean, why restaurant food tastes so good, right? So that it really helps the waistline too, which is a feature. But
we got a couple more questions for you, but I'll go first, and then Arnald's got a couple.
Fire away.
Check this question out. What are you seeing in the future of mezcal, like in terms of the audience? I mean, clearly, you're seeing beyond the kind of smokiness dominated mezcals, and you're introducing, fruity mezcals. Where are you seeing the audience going with it? Is this the next big thing?
I believe so. I really do. The metrics on it now are just absolutely incredible. I mean, it's double-digit growth. It's the fastest growing spirit category. But besides all that, that's just numbers on a page. I just truly believe, and it comes from my love of all things agave, that the consumer is ready for it now. It's still a little mysterious. It's still a little bad boy. It's got all that kind of, grit to it. And, I think people are looking for a new beverage, a new spirit. They're definitely vodka'd out. Tequila, as much as I love it, I mean, it's just white hot. I think people are looking for, something with a little edge to it. You know what I mean? And it's, and you could ride, again, on the coattails of tequila too. So it's a very easy transition. But what I'm seeing, I'm seeing it spread, again, obviously a lot of the major markets first, and then things, go outwards, and I'm starting to see it go outwards, which is great because, we're already in the game and a leader.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Nice.
Arnel and I were listening to your interview from back in the day during COVID times with Tangela, or is it?
Yeah. Love Tangela. Oh my God.
We found out that you guys all believe that it's always 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
All the time.
And you got a sensitive brother.
Yes. Talk about great energy.
Did you hear me?
Oh yeah, her interview was great.
What a good human.
We also found out you got a sensitive brother. I'm holding Arnel up. Arnel, you got the thing.
My much older brother. Actually, to turn the back of the bottle, my brother's actually a copywriter. He wrote all the copy on the Su Casa. Yeah.
What's his name?
John.
Shout out to Angelo.
Awesome. Yes. Well, for people who are listening in and have listened to this really exciting conversation and interview, where can people find the product if they want to try it and buy it?
Sure. We'll start with online because we're in every market. That's the easiest. So you can either go to our website directly at sucasamezcal.com, easy, or the spiritsnetwork.com, which is a very, very cool, it's kind of like the Food Network for spirits. You should check that out as well. Also, we're in all the, the Binny's locations in Illinois, ABC in Florida, Onboarding Total Wine, Bevmo out in California, all those stores, Go Puff and Pavilions and so on and so forth. But online would probably be the easiest for everyone.
We got to give a shout out to our our friend and podcast guest from the past, Josh Sizemore. We got to get you guys together. He's the founder of Mighty Well Foods, Beloit Kombucha. And he is a big believer in the 6 day a week, 2 times a day workout. And so
I am. Yeah.
Watch out for that.
You're only getting your me.
What's that?
I said, you're just getting one workout out of me. That's enough.
Right. Same here.
Yeah.
Have a one-time gal.
Totally, for sure.
Arnel, you got
Awesome.
a message for us?
I do. This episode is brought to you today by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands bring people closer through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more community and excitement around your food and beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more.
And you mentioned Reagan Heron, and we'll get you a big hookup for mentioning her name.
Reagan.
There you go.
But so listen, thank you so much for doing what you do, though. I mean, not only are you doing cool things, but you're making the world better. And on behalf of Arnel and myself, thank you for bringing that energy to the world and making it better. As a busy CEO, you probably don't get thanked.
That means a ton. Thank you very much. That's awesome.
Joey, thanks for being here today. Thanks for taking the time, and keep doing amazing things. And this has been another episode of the Firebelly Social Show. Duncan, Arnel, Joey, Angelo, everybody.
Hi, guys. Thank you for the time.
See you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the Firebelly Social Show. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.